Hello, this is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. Last spring, I got a little bit restless, and somebody had said that if you want to see some beauty and flowers galore, head for the west coast of British Columbia. Well, in the spring, we did, and we saw some tulips and a whole lot of other flowers, and it was just a nice break. Follow me along. Let's head for the coast. The flowers were out in full bloom. The ducks were back. Fishing season was just beginning, and the water was flowing. As we passed through towns heading for the coast, everything seemed to be decorated with flowers. Flowers of all kinds were coming into bloom. Tulips were coming out in bloom. And I'll tell you a little later in the video how these world-renowned flowers got started and the significance they played for Canadian troops in World War II. Everything was in bloom, even these apple blossoms in orchards as we rolled along the highway. Cherry blossoms like these were a deep pink color. These trees were cherry-producing trees, fruit-growing trees. But as we got near the coast and into more heavily populated urban areas, we saw more of these ornamental, non-fruit-growing cherry trees. Flowers everywhere were in bloom. Pansies, bluebells. There were bright yellow, healthy dandelions everywhere. People often spray to kill them, along with some small birds, unfortunately. They don't like it when dandelions go to seed and blow their gray seeds everywhere. But the bears don't mind, often making dandelions amongst the first vegetation to eat in the spring. And you have not lived the high life until you've tasted dandelion wine. We stayed in this campground along the Harrison River. We are at the Tulip Festival. Let's take a look around. We attended one of the many tulip festivals in the Fraser River Valley area just on the west side of Vancouver. Huge crowds come out just to walk in the fresh air of the country and enjoy the spring with tons of beautiful flowers. I have never seen such a mass number of thousands of flowers. It is kind of exhausting walking all those fields of tulips. So we stopped and had lunch for a while, and you can also buy T-shirts, cups, pens, and other kinds of souvenirs. Tulips, along with roses and lilies, are amongst the most popular flowers in the world. Have you ever wondered how tulips got started and got popular? Did you know that the word tulip is related to the word turban, the headgear? I borrowed this turban from a fellow that I know, and I'd like to tell you about the story of the turban and its relationship to tulips. If you look at the turban and the shape, it looks like and is shaped like a tulip. And centuries ago, the leaders in the parts of the Middle East, around the present-day country of Iran and east of the Caspian Sea, tulips grew in abundance, and they were beautiful, and everyone admired them. And the leaders, the sultans, the leaders of the communities, and the religious leaders selected the tulip and formed a headgear. This map shows where tulips were first recognized in the mountainsides to the east of the Caspian Sea in the Middle East. They also grew in the mountains of Iran, Turkestan, Afghanistan, all to the east of the Caspian Sea. And eventually, They were grown and recognized in Turkey as they moved westward into Europe and were popularized centuries later by the Dutch in the Netherlands. Since a turban has both religious and cultural significance for many groups, I did not wear this turban out in the public when we looked at the tulips in the fields there. I went back and put on my old Western-oriented hat that I wear all the time. I wore a turban only to illustrate the connection between turbans and tulips. People from parts of India were also enjoying the tulip fields. It was a great place to take pictures. Warm spring sunshine, lots of tulips, a great way to spend the day. Images of the tulips have been found in artistic drawings and songs by 1000 AD in Turkey and 500 years ago in Western Europe. The 1600s saw tulips cultivated in both the Netherlands and France. It was not until the modern world saw tulips in Canada. Farmers discovered that the warm, dry climates of British Columbia's Fraser Valley near Vancouver, with its rich soil, was ideal for growing tulips, and that was not until the 1950s and 60s. They say that there are about 125 farms here that grow 40 varieties of tulips. The tulip is the main cut flower crop in BC and is worth over $40 million to the BC economy. And BC is the largest producer of cut tulips in Canada. Tulips are as popular as the Easter Bunny out here in BC. But tulips bloom each spring for only about 3 or 4 weeks. So be sure you come out here at the right time when the tulips are in full bloom. Did you know that tulips will continue to grow after being cut? Like some people, tulips like a little vodka in their drink. So slip in 1 part of vodka to 7 parts of water. The vodka acts as a growth retardant to the stems and leaves, and the flowers continue to grow and bloom, making your tulips look better than ever. Rubbing alcohol at a ratio of 1 part of alcohol to 10 parts of water has a similar effect. Tulip flowers do produce seeds, but reproduction by seed takes years. Therefore, tulips are usually grown from transplanted bulbs. Tulips do best in well-drained soil, and you can add bone meal and fertilizer to your pots. With so many colorful flowers, you would expect hordes of bees, but not so. Like with most highly engineered plants, often tulips are sterile. There is little pollen in the tulips, and therefore few bees are attracted. Most people simply enjoy walking amongst the tulips. Tulips celebrate special days. For example, family gatherings with tulips mark Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, Easter, also weddings, birthdays, and various family outings. People design special arrangements with different colored tulips to make unique bouquets with a gradient of colors, creating striking patterns and textures. Some farms leave supports out in the field in order to enhance photographs, like bicycles people sat on, or they sat in old carriages, and this was a swing that people swung for live photographs. If you make a bouquet of tulips, remember that the stems continue to grow after they are cut. And when you cut them, by the way, cut them at about a 40-degree angle. And this leaves more surface area to absorb moisture. Keep your tulips out of direct sunlight, as they will turn toward the sun, and the result is a twisting of the stems, which you really don't want. Remember that tulips are part of the lily family, and that family can be poisonous to small animals like our pets, dogs, cats, and horses. People have mistaken tulips for onions and got sick by eating them. However, there was starvation in the Netherlands at one time, and that has a Canadian connection. There is a connection between this replica of a wooden shoe and the Netherlands and Canada and World War II. During the war, German troops overran and captured the Netherlands. Later in the war, Canada was assigned to recapture the Netherlands. Now, everyone seems to know about the great loss of Canadian lives during the war at the Dieppe raid on the shores of France. And there, about 1,000 Canadian soldiers lost their lives in a few days. But, by comparison, the campaign to recover the Netherlands took much longer. 8 months of bloody fighting, and the loss was much greater. 7,600 young Canadian soldiers lost their lives in the Netherlands campaign. I haven't seen a loss like that in terms of numbers in my lifetime, or I'll bet you your lifetime. But Canada finally drove the German troops out of the country. There are two related stories here. The Dutch royal family had fled for their lives when the German troops first arrived. The royal family fled to Canada, and during their time in Ottawa, a newborn child was expected. There were unanswered questions about a royal heir being born out of the country. So Canada solved the problem by declaring the hospital wing in Ottawa, where the royal baby was to be born, as official Dutch territory. And the second related story here is that shortly after Hitler's Nazis' army was driven from the Netherlands, there was a great danger of mass starvation in the country. People even got sick, but nevertheless they still ate tulips in some cases to keep from starving. Again, Canada solved the problem by conducting a major food relief program for the entire country. In appreciation for the Canadian efforts in the Netherlands, after the war, the royal family sent masses of tulips to Ottawa every year, and that still occurs yet today. They are gifts of appreciation, and Ottawa and the entire country celebrates the annual gifts of tulips from the Netherlands. So everything has a story. Every community, every person, everything, including tulips. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to hear when more videos are coming on the internet, hit the subscribe button, and that will let you know. And in the meantime, this is I Go Travel with Don Barnett. If you want to see more travel videos, just Google, as it says here, Google my name, Don Barnett 5090, and then click on my name, and then hit the word playlists in the middle of the page. And each playlist contains several travel videos.